1962 when RFK investigated the railroads for the steel companies for antitrust because President Kennedy didn't like them. And that was something that I know that our current president may have found to be distasteful. But this is really incredible. We are talking about getting criminal lawyers in order to be able to defend yourself for an overrun when we're trying to run a darn country.
Well, that's why this statement, Jim, by global central bankers, the heads of Australia, Brazil, Canada, Denmark, the Eurozone, South Korea, Sweden, Switzerland, and the UK is so interesting. And then Dimon's comments today, David, about Powell himself.
We can move on, of course, to J.P. Morgan earnings, but as you might expect, we were also waiting for what Jamie Dimon, the company's leader, would have to say about Powell, and there it is, the cornerstone of price, financial economic stability, interest citizens. Standing up for Fed independence, no surprise there. And, saying in his remarks as well, anything that chips away at that is probably not a great idea. We'll have the reverse consequence, he also said. And there is that coming at the end of this statement as well. And he believes will raise inflation expectations, probably actually have the effect of increasing rates over time as you lose faith, so to speak, in the central bank. And that takes us to the numbers themselves, guys. Jim, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them. I mean, we're talking about a stock that inevitably seems to move higher over these last couple of years, but not typically after it reports earnings, even when they, as they did this quarter, beat the estimates of the analysts who follow the company.
Well, we hope there's a Roche Motel. Remember last time Jamie spoke, he was talking about the cockroach theory, which turned out to be untrue, by the way. There were really only two. There was First Brands and Tricolor. At that point, we were still calling it Tricolor. We had no idea what the heck it was. David, investment banking, disappointing. Now, is that some sort of timing issue? Because I think there's investment banking for even the smallest firm right now, and I thought that J.P. Morgan should have a better investment banking number because otherwise everything else is pretty clean.
Yeah, loans up 9. Equity's a huge beat, obviously, up 40. Guidance on NII above consensus for the full year. They do, Jim Dimon does say that the impact of a cap on APR would be dramatic.
Right. I mean, look, it's the end of credit as we know it. Look, it's an unfortunate thing. You have to pay high interest rates because other people are defaulting. And we do want a system where banks want to give you a credit card. It's a good business. Is it uxorious? Well, for the people who didn't understand the process, absolutely. And if we had Max Levchin on right now for buy now, pay later in a firm, he would say it definitely is, but they have a different model. David, the fact is that people do default. It is unsecured, and someone has to make up for the 3 to 5% of the credit cards that are default. I don't know how you get around this unless you decide that, well, you know what, no one should do it except for a handful of people. And then only people who get credit cards are the people who don't need them.
That's a good point. Well, that goes to the idea that it would actually, the ultimate impact would be less borrowing, which would not necessarily be good for the broader economy as well. Kind of interesting story in the Journal today, also about J.P. Morgan taking over for Goldman Sachs for that Apple Card. I remember when you talked a lot about that.
That was a loser. Boy, Goldman, remember we were hammering Goldman when they did it. I mean, I remember telling Goldman, look, you guys are going to lose a fortune. And someone at Citi had told me this could be like a $7 billion hit. But the Goldman guys, yeah, but it's Apple. You didn't even know Apple was involved. Anybody who used that card realized that you were rooted to a call center in Mississippi who had no idea what the heck they were talking about because Goldman didn't want to get its hands dirty with the credit card. And I don't mind. I don't blame him because, man, that business sucks.
I don't know. Is there something in the air out there in California that just it's like you suddenly are, speaking the truth? What's going on?
I'm having a great time.
You're having a great time? Did you get any sleep at all? Any sleep?
Eagles
None,
lost.
Right? Yeah, that was 2 days ago.
I got 2 hours last night. 2 solid hours.
You got 2 solid hours?
What are you doing? You get your phone?
I don't know. I'm looking for things here.
Your phone, you usually have it right in front. This is how the show's done typically. Oh, look at that. I didn't even count on her. Never mind. Carl, I'm having some fun. What can I say?
That sit down between Ricks and Jensen looked pretty interesting yesterday. We're going to talk more about it, but this notion of living forever is literally something you're writing about.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about what it would be like and whether it would be not so great to live forever. The downside of living forever. It was kind of a otherworldly discussion. I didn't expect to see that between these two gentlemen who are pretty sober. They also talk about living past 100 and the upside and downside of that. frankly, I thought we were going to talk about drug discovery, but what the heck? Why not go science fiction?
Jim, we'll get to a lot of that. Very busy couple of days you've had out west at the JPM Healthcare Conference. When we come back, you'll hear what Novo CEO told Jim about the Wegovy pill last night at the conference. Tons of news coming out of there in the last 24 hours. Speaking of weight loss, as you just saw, Eli Lilly's Dave Ricks from that conference coming up later on this hour. We'll dive into Delta, and L3 Harris, and a bunch of calls on Chipotle, FCX, AMAT, Micron, our own parent Versant. When we come back.
तेरी एक जिद और फैक्ट्री वर्कर्स सब डबल
रिटायर हो जाऊं क्या?
अच्छा, प्रॉपर्टी के अगेंस्ट लोन का आइडिया किसका था? पर बुढ़ापा आ गया हो।
इनकी जिद ने कारोबार भी बढ़ाया और रोजगार भी। टाटा कैपिटल लोन अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर्टी के साथ।
Look, Hector! 6x6. Are your glasses okay? It's blue. The grill is different too. Who's the inside? Dad's Hector doesn't have these wheels. Guys, 6x6 is right. It is Hector. See? I told you.
With segment's first iSwipe touch gesture control and many more incredible features. The all-new MG Hector, designed to surprise. From soaring real estate to the wellness boom, luxury is evolving fast. Kotak Private's Luxury Index charts the change and decodes the new language of affluence.
People are really spending on health and wellness and also on life's experiences.
Osharya Das, CEO of Kotak Private Banking, Kotak Mahindra Bank Limited joins Lata Venkatesh. Catch Kotak Private Presents, where wealth meets aspirations. The new code of luxury. At these times, only on CNBC TV 18.
जब विकास जी के लिवर का ऑपरेशन हुआ तो पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने हॉस्पिटल पहुंचकर 50 लाख रुपए का क्लेम अप्रूव करवाने में पूरी हेल्प की। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
Nordisk up more than 25% since last month's FDA approval of its Wegovy pill to treat obesity. Last night on MAD at the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, Novo CEO talked to Jim about pricing the drug.
If you want to really make this accessible, then you have to put it at a price where everyone can afford it.
And it's something that the president and you both agree on.
We have actually.
Jim, takeaways from that sit down?
Well, look, I think that prices, we used to talk about the idea that maybe this could be $1,000 a month, it would break the treasury. Competition does work, obviously, Lilly and Novo. What I thought was really interesting was this first mover advantage we have to figure out when we speak to David Ricks. What does it mean to have first mover advantage on a pill? Let's say you tolerate the pill, your weight goes down. Does a doctor say, you know what, Lilly just came out with a pill. Why don't we give that a shot? That has not been the way that things have gone in the medical profession, but I think Dave Ricks will have some answers, and I really want to know, because, boy, did he ever come on strong versus Novo. They wiped the floor with Novo. I think Novo's trying to get back in the game. Let's hope they do. We need competition.
Well,
Yeah.
we have talked about sort of the cadence of these medications, and it's not something that you tend to hop or brand switch once you're in the midst of treatment.
Well, it's not really the doctor's role to be able to say, you know what, you really tolerate this pill. Let's just decide to switch.